Boys and girls, this is the Undisputed Era. Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, Roderick Strong, and you're listening to Going In Raw, baby.
Hey guys, this is Charlotte, and you're watching Going In Raw. Going In Raw. That sounds terrible.
What's up? It's your girl, Sasha Banks, the Legit Boss, and you are watching Going In Raw. You like that?
Hey, friendos, Larson here, and
also Cal
Jack's here.
Yes.
Welcome to Going In Raw. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Today is Monday. How was the rest of your weekend?
My weekend was pretty solid. Last night, I had a match in Concord for the promotion East Bay Pro Wrestling. It wasn't like your typical show. It was more or less a fundraiser show for one of the guys who's just been, his mom passed away the other day. So they had a big family fundraiser for him. And within the same couple weeks, his gear got stolen out of his car.
Oh, my God.
So him and his tag partner lost their gear. So we did this big show last night to fundraise for him, his family, and his loved ones, and also his tag partner, Alpha Zoe. So that's what I did last night. So I was in a good little fatal four-way tag match against the Bike Club. It was a good match. We won. I was with Marcus Lewis.
Oh, cool. Yeah, he's great.
He was featured on Raw as an extra one time as part of the Splash Brothers, which is pretty funny. And, Joe DeSoul was also in it. And then also Jody Christopherson.
Okay, yeah.
He was Garrett Dillon in NXT. His dad's famously known as Chris Christopherson. So him and I were in the tag match. And
cool.
We have our own little tag team when we weren't with those guys. Because I'm the Grizzly. He's the Pig, so we call ourselves Man Bear Pigs.
Yeah.
So we don't have any shirts of that yet, but we're working on it.
Steve and I might have went to an SPW show years ago and saw you guys tag up.
Maybe.
Yeah. I don't know, 4 years ago?
No, it was probably maybe a year and a half or 2 years ago.
Maybe not, thanks. I remember Jody. I remember him.
Yeah, Jody's great.
Anyways, this is Going In Raw. It can be found at youtube.com/Steven Larson. On the Patreon at patreon.com/Steven Larson. We got all sorts of great reward tiers going on there, including at $20, you self Friendo Care Package. You get a comic book, which I have misplaced, stickers, poster, which there's too much crap up here.
Look at this. This is great. It's a giant, beautiful mural of all the
I'm going to be honest. This gets my OCD going.
Oh, with how organized?
How disorganized it is.
How disorganized it is.
Like Steve's cubicle over there, mess. Mine, orderly.
You know what? Hey, let's not. Steve's not here. We don't need to do that. Poor Steve. He's all the way in England.
I kind of feel like we do.
Yeah, okay, we should actually.
We should. Yeah. Also going on right now, I believe, if not right now, pretty darn soon, there is a sale.
Yes.
At Pro Wrestling Tees, 20% off. Here's graphic, 20% off everything with the promo code America. We got new designs. You can see it right here. We got the pizza logo shirt, previously only available in sticker form. Now you can get a pizza on your shirt.
I would love that.
With Going In Raw on it. Also, the Friendo Fest flyer from our live podcast at Double or Nothing Starcast 2. Also, pictured here, the ever-popular, Hey, You're Not Me.
You're Not Me.
The Slow Wolf shirt. We got a lot of others. Slow Wolf Pack shirt. Fun Wrestling. WCW. Also, Cal Jack's got a pro wrestling tee shop there.
That I do.
20% off there too, yeah?
Yeah, you know what? If there's a time to get a nice Cal Jack shirt for yourself or your loved ones, now would be the time. 20% off. Go out there, get yourself a nice Cal Jack shirt. And to be honest, I got a couple shirts coming in, on the site. I was being a little lazy, in my leisure. There's some shirts I just posted up. I have a few shirts. There's a new one coming out that says Think Grizz.
I'm really excited about that
Think Cal Jack. So I'm looking forward to that shirt. It's supposed to be like the Think Green, but it's, it's a play on words.
No, I think that's good.
I'm excited about that.
I'm excited about that too. Do I have any other plugs? Like Steve handled. Oh yes, I got new patrons. There's so much. There's
a lot going on.
There's so many little things that each of us do every morning.
Yeah.
That it's having to do this all yourself or oneself. It takes a little bit getting used to. Anyways, let's go back to Friday. Yeah. Joseph Fontanez, thank you. Jansen 2424, thank you. Josh Tuck, and then Zach P. early this morning. Thank you, everybody, for joining up our Patreon. We're hopefully going to make some improvements once Steve returns from his lengthy, and hopefully recuperative vacation.
He's going to need it. I'm sure he needs to relax. He needs to go to, of all places, and you go to United Kingdom, go watch his sister get married.
Yeah.
Bring the kids. It won't be stressful. There'll be no stress at all.
whatsoever.
He's not having any stress at all. He's eating, what are they, fish and chips? Yeah, he's eating fish and chips.
Beggars and mash.
Beggars and mash.
Yeah, all that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
Also, before we get started with the news, I know there's a lot of plugs and stuff. Programming notes for the week. Thursday is the 4th of July. I don't want to come in. I'm sure you don't want to be here either.
Nah.
So Steve and I shot an episode of Count Out, Top 10 Most Patriotic Wrestlers. That's going up Thursday. So no live show, no stream on Thursday. Friday, however, we'll be here doing the news show in the morning. Maybe we'll come in a little late because, previous day, 4th of July. And then, Friday news show, Friday morning. That will be streamed live here at youtube.com/Steve and Larson. All right. Enough of all that.
Yeah, we're done with
all the plugs and all the information we have to get out there. Let's get on with the news. So, talk of the wrestling world over the weekend, ever since Thursday. Paul Heyman, Eric Bischoff heading Raw and SmackDown respectively. And now, early word was that neither would see any sort of active on-screen role, apart from Heyman already continuing his work as advocate for one, Brock Lesnar. But a couple of advertisements released over the weekend for this week's Raw and SmackDown kind of maybe alluded to a more prominent position than previously indicated, because they got a couple graphics. The Raw one, Heyman front and center. As you see with the thumbnail for this video, Bischoff front and center. And I think they both said, come see what, for Raw, Paul Heyman and SmackDown Eric Bischoff will be doing with Raw and SmackDown Live, making it seem like, hey, they're going to be on the show. But according to Pro Wrestling Sheet, that's not going to happen, because they said, quote, according to sources, the advertisements were not supposed to be sent out, and SmackDown hasn't been finalized behind the scenes, so a Bischoff appearance isn't guaranteed yet. We're told communicational errors like this are an example of why Paul and Eric were brought on board to stop things from falling through the cracks. Our sources say they'll soon be coordinating with all divisions to get everyone on the same page going forward. I guess when I first saw these ads, I was thinking, and I mentioned this on, I think, last Friday news show, or maybe it was Match Out of the Weekend. And I think one of the reasons that Vince brought in Heyman and Bischoff to lead the creative of Raw and SmackDown was the familiarity of the names, especially to casual wrestling fans who have since stopped watching, who were maybe really into it in the Attitude Era thereafter. They know the creative genius of Paul Heyman and the contributions of Eric Bischoff. So maybe those names attached creatively to Raw and SmackDown are enough to bring in fans who may have kind of not watched of late because creative's not very good.
That's exactly kind of what I was thinking. Them bringing Paul Heyman in and Eric Bischoff, all it is just showing to the fans that, hey, these guys have some creative influences on certain companies like ECW and also WCW. Mm-hmm. So bringing in Paul Heyman for Raw is a way to show the fans, look, we're trying. We got someone coming in who you guys know and love. Who doesn't love Paul Heyman? Super creative. Mm-hmm. We're gonna throw some stuff out there about how Paul helps with this superstar, how Paul helps with this superstar, and then Eric Bischoff. I mean, he has that one show he was doing 83 weeks.
Yeah.
So he was going off about all the creative influences and all the things he did for WCW. Mm-hmm. Obviously, it didn't end very well for those guys. No. But at the same time, these guys are coming in. It's trying to bring a little bit of excitement for the fans, totally, so that they can, hey, Paul Heyman. Who doesn't love Paul Heyman? Yeah. Eric Bischoff. Some people have mixed reviews on him. I mean, I'm not gonna say, but no, it's if anything, it's just to spark excitement and to get more casual fans that are familiar with their names to watch the show and see if there is a difference.
Yeah, totally. That's totally the case. And I've been a bit, bearish, bullish? I'm not that familiar with my stock market terminology. Whatever the one is pessimistic.
Oh yeah, there you go.
On Bischoff.
Yeah.
I kind of said, and I'm joking about it, that he's gone a long way considering he's had one good idea, the NWO.
Yeah, I know.
And like Steve mentioned, yeah, he brought the cruiserweights into WCW. There's a lot of other stuff he did to the benefit of WCW.
Yeah.
The creation of the NWO being first and foremost. Execution of the idea of the NWO is something else entirely. But you can do a whole show about that. I'm not getting to that right now. Since then, on various appearances, Bischoff has made some efforts to say that he has learned from his previous creative mistakes in WCW and TNA, and he seems aware that if WWE is going to have a brand split, it needs to be a brand split. And I mentioned last week that I'm hopeful that Bischoff, more than anything, will be involved in the executive side of things with Fox, dealing with the partnership between Fox and WWE on the broadcasting side. And I'm hopeful, at least, that if nothing else, from a creative standpoint, Bischoff can bring a change in presentation to SmackDown because it sorely needs it. Raw and SmackDown need to look different. They both need a fresher approach. WWE's product, by and large, has looked the same for basically 30-some years. And I was never a fan of Bischoff's tenure in TNA, but I really did like the fly-on-the-wall stuff they did, the kind of documentary type shot backstage.
Filming stuff.
I thought that was great.
I mean, that's the thing. We'll see what these guys bring. I hope it's not the scenario where you can put lipstick on a pig, but it's still going to be a pig.
Well, Vince still overseeing everything.
That's the thing. And it's like, what kind of influence are those guys going to have on Vince? Is Paul Heyman going to have the magic words to convince Vince, like, no, we should do it this way. This way is better. And then you're going to have Eric Bischoff be like, Vince, I think we should go with this way. I think it's better approach for everybody, kind of my idea of thoughts. I have no idea. I mean, for me, I'm a wrestler, who knows where I'll be in a couple years from now, if I'm ever going to be on those shows or whatever, hopefully, knock on wood, or AEW, I'm not going to go into that, but I'm going to be optimistic for it because Raw and SmackDown, they need a big change to keep the show interesting because with all the AEW hype and just the boost of the indies, they need to keep the casual viewers intact. And, like you said, the writing team needs to get changed up. And with what Paul Heyman brings to the table as far as writing creative, I mean, he can go out there, cut a promo. He's obviously super creative. He can just say whatever, and it's just brilliant. He can control the crowd. Is he going to be able to bring that type of thing in the back in the office with the boys? I have no idea. I'd be curious to see.
Yeah. Based on your experience, and maybe this isn't necessarily something you could speak to, but I'll ask the question nonetheless. When there's this kind of, for lack of a better word, upheaval backstage in terms of who's kind of running things, how does that affect the locker room?
Okay, so I'll just go speak off experience when I was in NXT. And keep in mind, I wasn't one of the guys that had a role on the show at all. I was super green, very, very immature at my time there. But what usually happened in NXT when we would get ready, and this is at Full Sail, this is at the school, all the coaches, producers, the writers, Triple H, they would go meet in one of this big office conference room. They would be in there for a couple hours. The boys would just be in the locker room, just sitting, kind of waiting. Some would go to the ring, hang out in the ring, just try to find ways to pass the time, especially if you're a new kid or we're in NXT, you're not going to be on your phone. You're going to be observing. You're going to be listening. You're going to try to get everyone, not get anyone's attention, but just try to pick up on whatever somebody's putting down. Yeah. So people are waiting. They are waiting until something comes up. I'm sure in WWE, everyone's kind of doing their thing. Obviously, you can see the guys, how they kind of kill time with up, down, down, video games, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So I'm sure those guys are just waiting until they have to have somebody hand them a script and be like, here, this is what you want. This is the outline, the schedule, the show. This is what we want you to do. I don't know if that's the case now, but I can imagine that when they have those last-minute changes, they go in the office, Vince is with somebody. They have, because I think that's what what's his name said. Bruce Pritchard would say.
Oh, yeah.
You'd have the meeting, and then you have the super secret meeting.
Yeah.
So I'm sure it's one of those cases. I'm sure Heyman will have the guys in his meeting, and then he'll probably have his super secret meeting with somebody else to finalize what they want to do for the show.
And I wonder too how the change in the power structure will affect. Like Moxley said a lot on his appearance at Talk to Jericho, that he'd have a problem seemingly weekly with a promo or a segment he was involved in, so he'd have to go to the writer and bother them, and the writer would kind of either be wishy-washy or try to make the change. It seemed inevitably it would lead to a meeting in Vince's office.
Yeah.
Now with Paul on Raw, Bischoff on SmackDown, are they going to be the kind of the end destination for superstars with creative issues going to them?
They're probably a lot more approachable than I think Vince is, because when you talk to the guy that pretty much has your livelihood, you don't want to say anything wrong. And I think with like John Moxley's personality, he's not really afraid of anything.
No.
So him just going up to Vince with an issue, he had no problem doing that. I think with Heyman and Bischoff, I think hopefully they're going to be a little bit more open to like whatever the critiques that the superstars have on the promo, the way they want the match go, a little bit more creative freedom. I'm curious to see, maybe that might be the change that they need so that guys can, they can spit their ideas off. Yeah. And those guys are going to be more open. When Vince is in his ways and he's done a lot of great things, but we've heard in the podcast with Moxley that the direction he's taking the company may not be the right way that it should be going.
No, totally not. He's kind of Vince is kind of a control freak. Nonetheless, it looks like that both Heyman and Bischoff are on the job currently. PW Insider's reporting that, quote, we were told that Paul Heyman and Eric Bischoff are already officially on the job and their contributions and ideas will be implemented over time. So do not expect an immediate, overnight, massive changes. Real quick, when are we going to see some noticeable changes?
Hopefully the opening act of the show, something's going to change, I'm sure. And it's that third hour. Keeping the people around that third hour is super important because that's the biggest drop-off. I mean, it's one thing for the kids and whatnot that watch the show and they got to go to bed early, but it's like, how do you keep the parents watching? Because more or less, when the kids go to bed, boom, parents turn off the TV. It's like, how do you keep them to stick around and watch?
I'll be honest, I'm old. At 10 o'clock, I want to go to bed.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm tired.
It's rough.
That last hour of Raw.
3 hours is just so damn hard.
It is hard.
So I don't know.
And while Bischoff may be starting this week, he and his family apparently aren't going to move to Connecticut until next week. But fear not, fans of 83 Weeks. The show will continue, though it may stick to a schedule, something kind of like something to wrestle, where they'll try to do weekly. They'll do some best of shows like Pritchard and Conrad have been forced to do of late. Live shows probably not going to happen anymore. The demands of the WWE schedule are, even for creative people, super intense. Would you want to work for WWE Creative, yes or no?
No.
No.
Unless I was a producer.
Okay, but not a writer.
Not a writer. Producer.
Yeah, I don't know. Steve and I had the conversation, like, for $500,000, would you do it? I'm like, no.
No, because...
That's years off my life.
And that's the thing, like, how long... What's your expiration date with those guys? They can cut your contract whenever. And all you need is, like, one of the superstars to kind of go off script and go in a direction that could be good or bad for how it went. But regardless, it's who the main guy, if he likes it. And if he doesn't like it, it doesn't come back on the superstar. At that point, it comes back on the writer.
Well, it's like the incident at the Hall of Fame with Bret Hart where he thanked Vince, and the writer got the heat for it.
He got all the heat for it.
And it's like...
yeah, go on.
I was just saying, it's like Bret, I'm guessing he was told, hey, don't mention Vince.
Yeah.
But if he's going to do it, the writer can't do anything about it.
This is what I'll do. I have a show, Big Time Wrestling,
all right,
August 16th and 17th.
Yeah.
Bret Hart's going to be there.
Ooh.
For going in Raw, I'm going to corner that man.
Ooh.
I'm not going to wear a Rastafarian head and tackle him, but I will say, why did you bring up Vince's name and you jeopardize that man's poor life? You ruined his life, Bret Hart, by saying his name.
I say, well,
I had a feeling that... I'll tell you a story later about Bret Hart, but he was once at the Performance Center, and he gave like this speech, and he did not want to be there.
Really?
And he did not. But it was funny. He was wearing like a classic Coca-Cola shirt, and I don't know why that just popped me. But yeah, he was like, oh, well,
he likes his classic Coke.
He was like talking to us about how to sell and stuff. And we're just all like sitting in this big auditorium, and he just looked like he's like, I don't know why I'm here. I'm just here to watch Natty take on Charlotte, and that was that show.
Oh, okay, the takeover. Huh?
Yeah, it was that takeover, and he's just like, I don't want to be here.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, at least he's being honest, I guess.
Well, he didn't say it.
But his body language.
You could just tell with his body language, and he's just like, ugh.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah. Anyways, before we continue, here's a word from the sponsor of today's show, forhims.com. I know this isn't a problem for you, Cal, and your incredible head of hair.
Yes.
Majestic.
Thank you.
But are you aware that 2 out of 3 men start losing their hair by the age of 35? And once you notice your hair is thinning, it can be too late. But the best way to prevent more hair loss is do something about it while you still got some follicles up there.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah. But why try odd solutions or do nothing when you turn to medicine and science? What would you do?
If my hair was, was it before 35? I got a little bit of time. I would go to 4 Hims if I had to do that.
Yeah, because they have medicine and science on their side. And 4hims.com has been helping guys be the best version of themselves with licensed physicians and FDA-approved products to help treat hair loss. Hims was created by a dude who knew that some men's health conversations are easier online than in person. So Hims connects you,
Me, us,
with
everyone.
real doctors online, which means no more awkward doctor visits or time wasting long lines at the pharmacy. You just answer a few quick questions. A doctor will review your order, and if they determine it's right for you, they can prescribe you medication to treat your hair loss, and best of all, it's shipped directly to your door. Do you like leaving the house?
No.
I don't either.
No. Not at all.
So if stuff shipped to my door, that's better than having to go
That's
somewhere.
so much better. My goodness.
It is. And
Do
right
I want to go to a doctor's office and just have the doctor be like, look at you, you balding weirdo. You need some for Hims. What's wrong with you? I don't want that kind of experience. He's going to make fun of me. No, I'd rather just
what kind
do
of
it
doctor
online.
do you have?
Yeah, I don't want to tell you, man.
Okay. And right now, Going In Raw listeners can get started with the Hims Complete Hair Kit for just $5 today. Right now, while supplies last, and subject to doctor's approval, just go to forhims.com/GIR. See website for full details and safety information. This could cost you hundreds if you went to the doctor or a pharmacy somewhere else. That's forhims.com/GIR. forhims.com/GIR. Again, we'd like to thank Hims for sponsoring today's show, and you're really helping out Going In Raw by going to forhims.com/GIR. While Cody Rhodes doesn't have any hair issues, he does have a head wound.
He does have a head wound.
A massive head wound. So if you all watch Fighter Fest, and Cal, thanks for joining me watching Fighter Fest.
So, last minute, I'm glad I showed up. Great time.
It was a blast.
It was so much
It was
fun.
a blast. I believe the Friendoverse appreciated your insight greatly, and it was a great time. So that chair shot to Cody's dome.
Yep.
That kind of blew up wrestling internets.
Yeah.
Wrestling Twitters. Everybody had their own take. And it kind of caused, that was kind of like the overriding, I felt like, narrative coming out of Fighter Fest. There were some people talking about Mox and Janela, which was great. The Young Buck or the Elite versus Lucha Bros and Laredo Kid match.
Yeah.
That was great. There's a lot of great stuff that happened at Fighter Fest. A lot of people were talking about that headshot that Sean Spears delivered via chair to Cody's head. And during the post-Fighter Fest media briefings, the Young Bucks spoke about that spot, with Nick saying, quote, "You think it was unprotected, and I'll keep it at that. That was all Cody's idea. I don't even know what happened, to be honest. All I know is that he did get staples, so I'm going to have to look back, and I'll have to comment on it later. I do know they gimmicked the chair, and it clearly didn't work since he was bloody." Tony Khan also spoke about it, saying, quote, "We called the doctor immediately. Obviously, really regrettable what happened. I don't know if this is the time to go into detail about what happened, but we had taken precautions with the situation. In that specific situation, a doctor was available, and Cody does not have a concussion, had staples, and we're all very grateful for that." Cody, did confirm on Twitter that he was concussion-free, received about a dozen staples to close the wound in the head, but it begs the question, how'd this happen? Ryan Satin of Pro Wrestling Sheet posted a couple of interesting screen grabs on Twitter, which showed the moment of impact from Sean Spears, the chair, to Cody's head, and it looked like the backrest, the bottom of the backrest of the chair was kind of like folded over metal.
Yeah.
Was what hit Cody in the back of the head. And have you ever heard of a gimmicked steel chair?
No. So a lot of times there's a way to get hit with a chair and not have any repercussions from it. Obviously, I'm sure Cody told Sean, "Hey, this is how I want you to do it." And in the indies, we don't have, most promotions don't have doctors to say, "Oh, we don't allow this kind of thing."
Yeah.
It's more or less up to the promoter. Headshots, they're common nowadays.
Are they coming back?
Not for WWE.
Yeah, but I meant the indies.
Indies, yeah. You guys are
Really,
ridiculous.
with no unprotected?
So I've taken a headshot before, but I've always put up my hands to block it. Cody, obviously, he's in front of a pretty decent crowd. This is part of his company. He wants to push the envelope to get people talking. That headshot was planned, yes. The whole goal is to get people talking about it. I mean, we watched Moxley's match and all the things they did.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, what are we talking about? We're talking about Cody Rhodes taking a headshot from Sean Spears. I mean, it's all different. I'm sure, yes, there are chairs that are gimmicked that they can get away with that. That chair looked like as real as they could.
Yeah, no. Lance Storm posted on Twitter about how in ECWs they used to gimmick chairs, apparently. And I'm going to try to remember exactly what he said. But they took some of the pins out of the hinges.
Okay.
So I'm guessing so the chair would have, the seat of the chair would have some give.
Yeah. That makes sense. I've seen it to where, like, the Dudleys took a chair, and then just you see the way seat goes forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not locked in when they close it all the way.
Totally. And but he said the downside of that is that if it gives potentially too much, then that part of the chair, the underside of the backrest where the metal folds over, can cause an injury in the back of the head.
Yeah, it can cut the back of your head.
So I guess if it was gimmicked in that way, where it was meant for the seat to give someone so the impact wasn't full on.
Yep.
But I guess if you're not experienced in delivering a chair shot, but also if you're swinging pretty hard, your aim can only be so good.
That's the thing that cracks me up is like, how do you teach taking something like that head on? You can't really. It is what it is.
Yeah.
It's more or less on if you throw your hands up or not. Cody kept his hands down. I think he knew what he was getting himself into.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, you could just see Sean. He did it. He knew. You could tell by his facial reaction that was the planned spot or segment.
Totally.
It kind of is what it is. I'm surprised how much it's getting talked over. Mm-hmm. I mean, as a wrestler, to me, it's like, okay, he got a headshot. It's nothing I haven't seen before. Mm-hmm. But for like casual fans, this is a big deal because concussions are so big these days. And that's the main concern. We've seen documentaries about, there's movies about concussions and how people are afraid of them. Cody's not concussed from what we've heard of, thankfully. But who knows? I'm sure he got his bell rung pretty bad.
Oh, yeah.
He's bleeding. So.
Yeah. It was interesting that when he took it, he turned his head like this. And so often, hearkening back or watching back in the Attitude Era, when they do the unprotected headshots. Yeah. It seemed like people would put their head down so the impact was made on the crown of their head rather than the back. And I wonder if, if he had ducked his head down, maybe took it more in the head in the seat.
Because it looked like it hit him on the back left side of the head.
Yeah.
Because when I saw it, looked like it hit him on the top, but then he turned his head last second, cracked him in the back, and then him having that blonde hair and the blood, it's like you can see the color of it a lot more with his hair than anything. So I'm pretty sure that kind of sparked some conversation about how you could see the blood and whatnot.
Yeah, totally. So I guess this begs the question: is this the last time we're going to see one of these in AEW?
No,
you don't think so?
No.
Okay.
I can guarantee they will have another, because it's pro wrestling. You can't plan. You can plan as much as you want with certain spots, but it's inevitable. They obviously in WWE they hit the back, they hit the knee of the back. AEW, these guys are on their own, man. They pick and choose. They don't really have anyone to say. I mean, they have some of the producers in the back like Billy Gunn, but I think Cody and the Bucks, whatever their opinion is going to override anybody else, unless Tony Khan says, hey, we have sponsors, they don't want to see this type of violence. That might be the only case. But as far as I'm concerned, these guys, it'll happen again. Especially with how the hardcore matches like Pentagon Zero and him and his brother and all the stuff they've done, it's gonna happen again.
Yeah,
I guarantee
it might. It depends on if there is any additional backlash from wrestling fans about Cody. Granted, this was obviously green lit by him, so it wasn't like someone took advantage of the situation. This is something he was in agreement with. But at the same time, he's taken his health potentially in his own hands. And even if there's a concussion or not, repeated head trauma is probably not good for the brain.
No, it's not good. And especially for a guy who has to run this company.
Yes.
Does he want to have concussion issues? And he has to make up a decision that could cost millions?
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. That wouldn't be smart for him to ever do that again.
No, probably not. Another talent who's dealing with injury, Rey Mysterio. We haven't seen him since...
Was it... he gave up the title and he got jumped by Joe.
Yeah, we haven't seen him since then, but you haven't seen him in ring action, apart from getting attacked by Joe.
Yeah.
Since Money in the Bank. He was on the two-man Power Trip of Wrestling podcast and talked about his current injury status. Transcript of this are from Wrestling Observer. He said, quote, I suffered a recent injury at Money in the Bank versus Samoa Joe. Unfortunate for me because it was a big step moving forward, especially at this stage in my career, being able to capture one of the last titles that was set on my bucket list, the U.S. title.
Yep.
And again, very important that I had a separated shoulder, and that put me out of circulation. I've been out for 4 weeks now. The separation and bruised AC joint, which the doctor had predicted anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks. And of course, 4 weeks closed out for my injury. My recovery is about 80% as we speak. So I'm hoping that in the next 2 weeks I can gain that other 30 that I have left and be back in the ring by the month of July. You had a shoulder injury.
Yes, I've had a few.
Was any of them involving the AC joint?
I had my labrum and my rotator cuff.
Okay.
I think I sprained my AC joint.
Okay.
Man, dude, shoulder injuries suck.
Mm-hmm.
I think as far as pro wrestling goes, it's the worst injury you can get because you're landing on your shoulders. You have to use your shoulders to base guys, throw guys. If you lose your shoulders, you're pretty much, it's tough. It is really, really hard to come back. And I know from experience because I've had 2 shoulder surgeries. I've had 4 dislocations, all within a span of like a year and a half.
Oof.
And it's not easy. And it takes more important than rehab and all surgeries and whatnot. It just takes time. It takes a lot of time for these things to heal. And if you have like if your time span's short and you need time to heal, it doesn't look very good. Rey's a professional. He's done this forever. Something that I always remember that like Sami Zayn said, he said like on a podcast or something, and he said to us, he's like, if you know how to work hurt, you can last a long time. And I think with Rey, he's done this forever. I think he knows how to work hurt. So, I mean, it sucks for him. And, it was just he separated his shoulder and then just watching Joe destroy him after giving up the U.S. title. I mean, that was kind of a weird booking scenario.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why they went that route, especially if Rey was hurt. Maybe he wasn't hurt. I don't know. And then he got hurt afterwards.
Well, I was wondering too if the doctor said, "All right, you as far as the shoulder separation or the AC separation, I guess I don't know if it's the actual shoulder joint, the AC joint that was separated.
Yeah.
That's depending on the nature of the injury. They're like, okay, you can do a limited amount of physicality, like Joe can put you in the coquina clutch. It's not an issue.
That's not going to hurt you
as long as you're not taking any bumps. You should be fine.
Yeah.
Who knows? What do you want to see Rey do when he gets back? Do you want to see him go after that U.S. title? I mean, program with Ricochet, which would be great. Or I'm kind of thinking it'd be awesome. Put him in a Universal title program with Seth.
All those choices would be great. I mean, to be honest, I'm not really sure because this isn't the Rey Mysterio we've seen years ago. Obviously, he can do things that a lot of guys much younger than him, he can do that they can't do. It's interesting. I wasn't really a fan of him bringing his son Dominic on board. Cool, the kid's getting FaceTime, but last I remember, that kid's training. Like, it was just kind of weird having him along.
Yeah.
It would be cool to see him, take on Ricochet because I know they've done matches before and they did stuff on Lucha Underground when he was when Ricochet was Puma Prince. That'd be cool. Seth Rollins for a Universal title. I kind of don't really want to see that.
Yeah,
I'm not really interested in that. I would rather see Seth take on a really solid heel. And for instance, like Chris Jericho was talking about when Seth had taken up Baron Corbin.
Yeah.
He wasn't a fan of that because Corbin doesn't draw as much as some of the other stars. Like Seth and Samoa Joe.
That'd be great.
That's what I would want to see. I would rather see Rey have these awesome matches with Ricochet and just kind of help him. Because that's the thing that they always talk about, the vets always talk about, having a guy with experience like Rey Mysterio go with a younger guy like Ricochet, see how they balance and work off each other. Because those Mysterio and Almas matches
fantastic.
were amazing.
Yeah.
That's what I want to see, just more of that, but with Ricochet.
Yeah.
Especially now that he's that United States title. It would just be amazing.
Yeah. I guess my hope for a Rey Seth program be Seth is great, and set his Twitter comments aside about being the best. He's one of the better wrestlers in the entire world.
He's one of the better.
But I feel like a program with Rey would help get him out of a bit of a rut.
Yeah.
Seth can put on routinely really good matches. But you kind of know what you're getting going into it.
Yeah.
And Rey, it seems like he's one of the few guys that they trust to do things that are normally other guys can't do, like Canadian Destroyers.
Yeah.
Because he's the only guy, as far as I know, that's allowed to do them on main roster.
That's the thing. Who's allowed to do them?
Yeah. Because they trust him. See if he can unlock another gear in Seth, I think would be kind of cool.
If they would have to write that, I think it would be interesting if the story was, you see Seth is obsessed with Brock cashing in. That's his biggest concern. How is Brock going to cash in? Because when he was with the Corbin's like, I'm looking for a ref for me. And so it's like you see Seth kind of getting he doesn't know if he can watch his back anywhere because you have one dude who's going to try to cheat, and then you don't know when Brock's coming out. If Rey came out and said something to Seth like, hey, you're not really representing yourself as a champion. You're too worried holding that title instead of being that title.
Yeah.
Like being the champion instead of worrying about who's going to take it from you.
Yeah.
Like that to me would be kind of a cool story because Rey could talk about how, I've had the title and I was just like you. I was worried about losing it, and that's what happened. I lost it. Because that's when, Rey... What was it? Kane cashed in on him and like took the title on that same night at Money in the Bank. That would be kind of an interesting story. Cool. But I don't know if that's something, hey, Heyman, try that.
Yeah. Well, like the idea that Seth is too focused on not losing as
exactly. Not
trying to win matches. Totally.
Like there's an old saying that play to win, play not to lose. Yeah. Don't play not to lose. So right now Seth is kind of playing not to lose. Yeah. If he can go where he wants to wrestle to win instead of wrestle not to lose, that would be kind of an interesting way of doing it.
It's too bad they have Drew McIntyre involved in the Shane McMahon stuff because, man, Seth versus Drew for the Universal title.
That would have been way better.
Huge money.
Because then that goes back to what Drew was saying when he first came back. There's no fire anymore than you lads. You don't got it in ya. I have been working too hard for this company to burn down. I want to take that Universal title and make a name out of it. Something like that.
That's good.
Yeah.
Man, you might be an upgrade over Steve with these impressions.
Well, it just if I get in the mode, I can do a decent impression of something.
That's the thing is like, Steve, yeah.
You don't hold that title with respect.
Either would be fine by me.
Sure.
Let's go to my favorite part of the show. I'm excited that you get to take part in your first Raw preview here, Cal, because week in and week out doing Raw and SmackDown previews is generally the highlight. Would you like to start?
Oh, so we're going to do Fall Counts Anywhere?
Yeah.
All right, Raw preview, Fall Counts Anywhere. Braun Strowman has bested Bobby Lashley in an arm wrestling match, a one-on-one battle at WWE Super Showdown, and this past Monday night, a tug of war. However, it was the Almighty who was standing tall after the most recent test of strength, pulling the tugging rope across the eyes of the monster among men to temporarily blind the Goliath. Then, driving him into ringside barricade. Ow! Strowman will have the chance for retribution against the bitter Lashley when they meet. A Fall Count Anywhere match on Raw in Dallas. Will Lashley continue to get these hands as these titans battle all over the arena in a bout where pinfalls or submissions can occur anywhere? Or will the Almighty use his chaotic stipulation to finally cut the monster among men down to size?
Wow.
Whatever happens, you won't want to miss any of the hard-hitting havoc.
Oh, it's nice alliteration there at the end.
Yeah.
Good job, Ryder.
Hard-hitting havoc.
Next, the New Day and the Viking. I'm going to have our time following that. The New Day and the Viking Raiders are throw down in tag team action. Oh, God. The wild card rule is about to load for the WWE Universe yet again. All right, we're done, everybody. Bye.
Oh, boo. I thought they were going to change everything.
They mentioned wild card rule.
Wild card.
We're calling it a day.
Genius. Wild card.
I'm a genius.
I'm a genius.
The New Day will collide with the Viking Raiders in tag team action for the first time ever this Monday night on Raw. Which two members of the New Day will square off against the gargantuan unit of Eric and Ivar? It still pains me to say they're
Eric and Ivar.
It's Hanson and Rayro. Rayro and Hanson. In what is easily the biggest opportunity of their tenure on Raw thus far? Find out when the massive match goes down this Monday night on Raw.
Ivar sounds like a name like from Romania or something. I don't get Viking out of that.
It might have Scandinavian origins.
Maybe. I don't know. My name's Ivar. I don't know.
I don't know either.
Anyway, how will Baron Corbin and Lacey Evans exploit Seth Rollins' kryptonite? After their winner-takes-all mixed tag match against the Universal Champion Seth Rollins and Raw Women's Champion Becky Lynch was made official for WWE Extreme Rules, Lacey Evans told Baron Corbin that even Superman has his kryptonite. And the Beast Slayer's one weakness is the man herself. How will the sass of Southern Belle and the Lone Wolf work to ensure they leave Philadelphia with both titles on Sunday, July 14th? And how will Rollins and Lynch respond?
Well, they'll respond by winning.
We won. There's our response.
All confidence points on that match.
Yeah.
The Big Dog and the Dead Man unite. It was an alliance that no one saw coming, especially not Roman Reigns. But then Shane was like, yeah, Roman Reigns was called Undertaker and he showed up on Raw. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But The Undertaker returned this past Monday night on Raw to help the big dog repel a 2-on-1 beatdown at the hands of Shane McMahon and Drew McIntyre. The unexpected assist led to a blockbuster WWE Extreme Rules announcement that Reigns and the Dead Man will join forces against the best in the world and a Scottish psychopath in Philadelphia. What fallout from the shocking team-up will we witness this Monday on Raw?
That's interesting.
They got to have some explanation storyline.
What?
For
Yeah,
that
like
tandem.
The reason Roman, like, hey, you know what, Roman? I want to help you out. I think you might need some help against that Shane McMahon feller and that big Drew McIntyre. I don't know if I can let you go on by yourself against these guys because Shane's been beating you clean.
How about this, Roman? It could be our yard. We'll buy a duplex.
And we'll go to Michelle's Lady Gym.
There you go.
We'll work out there.
That'll be common space.
Is AJ Styles in line for a U.S. title opportunity? In his first match back from injury, AJ Styles lived up to his "Never Rest, Never Rust" t-shirt slogan. I didn't know that was a t-shirt.
Yeah, he has it on one of his shirts.
T-shirt slogan, bringing the fight to the new United States champion Ricochet in a blockbuster Raw main event that sealed a victory for the Phenomenal One. Ricochet has been on a tear lately, dazzling the WWE Universe and dazzling opponents as he continues to fine-tune his spectacular aerial offense. But the veteran Styles proved in their match why he's lauded as one of the most competitive superstars in WWE today. With that victory, will Styles soon battle Ricochet once more, this time with the Star-Spangled title on the line?
I'm guessing, yeah. Probably.
Yeah.
That seems like a safe bet. Samoa Joe, our next WWE champion. Kofi Kingston is the definition of a fighting champion. One night after defending his WWE title against Dolph Ziggler in a steel cage match on WWE Stomping Grounds, he was victorious in back-to-back bouts against Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Taking advantage of Kingston's exhaustion, however, Samoa Joe attacked Kingston from behind and locked him in the coquina clutch, making clear his intentions to decimate the WWE champion and claim his title. The ambush set in motion a WWE title match between Kingston and the Samoan submission machine at WWE Extreme Rules. Kofi now counts down the days to what could be his greatest challenge since winning the WWE Championship at WrestleMania. How will Joe follow up on last week's heinous assault? Don't miss Monday Night Raw live, 8/7 Central on USA Network. You excited for Raw tonight?
You know, tonight I'm going to be excited because I actually have to watch the show, and because like I've said, I've watched the show in highlights, and you and Steve just fill in the rest.
Yeah,
I don't have to do much, and this time it's like, oh, now I gotta watch.
This will be fun.
So, and this is the first show that we're getting Heyman
in charge of. Yeah,
Heyman's in charge. So we'll see if there's any big changes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I don't know either. I've told Steve I'm kind of thinking that we won't see any huge changes till probably after SummerSlam, just so they can wrap up the storylines they got now.
That's kind of how I feel, and I think that like that Fox deal is getting closer and closer, and I feel like those are when the changes are going to be a little bit more noticeable if it happens.
Yeah.
So I mean, who knows? We'll see. I'm going to be excited to watch though.
Cool. I'm excited to hear what you think about the whole endeavor.
I know I'm not going to be like Adam Mayhem, or Adam Mayhem. I started like AJ Styles. I'm not going to be like Adam Mayhem who just comes on the show and just complains. I want to have a more optimistic approach.
Perfect. Let's take some questions here. Minion TM69. Cal equals NWO Bray Wyatt with a better beard.
I don't know how I feel about that. I think Bray probably has better like facial lining with his beard.
Yeah.
Because I've seen him. I was there when he had it grown super long.
Yeah.
And
it's too much hair.
It is a lot of hair. But when he shaved it and trimmed it down, he's doing dude, it looked great.
Oh yeah.
I might have to give that to Bray. He has a better beard.
He does have a nice beard. The Universal Jones, thank you. Dom Eld says, shh.
Oh, it says leave a Bates impression.
I guess so.
As a librarian.
Frank Harris, thank you. Tank Fish, when did Steve get ripped?
I'm not Steve. Steve's always been ripped. You just can't tell under that shirt.
Yeah. Wang Choco, welcome to the show, Cal. What's your preferred greeting? A too sweet, a hearty handshake, a Steve shoulder lean, or a second rope tombstone pile driver? How do you feel about too sweeting?
I don't really do them. I try to do because I substitute teach, and just this symbol means quiet coyote. Okay. Before there was ever a too sweet, this is quiet coyote, which means you gotta be quiet.
Yeah.
So yeah, they can say the outsider. What? How does he say? I can't do a what's his name's voice. I'm not even gonna try. But no, this is quiet coyote. All right. You could say too sweet. This is quiet coyote. I'm old school. Just a proper handshake, man. Handshake, fist bump.
Right on.
Nothing beats a classic high five.
Exactly.
So too sweets. Leave it to somebody else.
I agree.
Not to say I'm not. If someone gives me a too sweet, I
won't deny.
I won't deny it because
All right.
that'd just be rude. And people have. I know you have your reasons. I'm not dissing you or anything. You have your reasons. And I'm sure Steve is just too sweet.
Yeah.
No, quiet Cody. That's what that means.
Yeah.
That's what the children know.
Yeah,
At Browns Valley Elementary School, this means quiet Cody.
Yeah. Nick C. Cal Jack, more like Cal Jacked. He says, thanks for helping Larson. Yes, thank you very much.
You're welcome. And you know what? The whole Jack stuff, I'm working on that. I'm trying to get on this keto diet. I actually talked to Adam Mayhem about that. He's on the keto diet as well. So I want to get to that point. I'm Cal Husky right now, not Cal Jacked. I'm like Huskus the pig from.
Well, I wouldn't say. That.
I'm working on it, man. You gotta lose these love handles.
I saw you toss around those dummies in the wrestling.
That's right, dude.
So
that doesn't cure
you're
love
jacked,
handles.
man.
I'm working.
You're
on
jacked.
It.
You're jacked, Daddy.
I'm working on it.
Universal Jones says Shag, marry, or fire. Heyman, Bischoff, Road Dogg.
Let's Shag, marry, fire. I'd probably marry Road Dogg because he's a family guy, and being with him long term, he probably has a lot of good insight on the business. He could probably teach me some stuff. Shag, probably Bischoff. And fire Heyman because Heyman can do whatever he wants outside the business.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the easiest way to do it.
I know. I was listening to an episode of 83 Weeks recently, and Bischoff did an extended, basically, soliloquy on the powers of Blue Chew.
Yeah.
And how it improved his performance.
Well, there you go. We can talk about Blue Chew or whatever.
However, for me, that was a huge turnoff.
Yeah. No Blue Chew.
No, just him talking about
Blue
it.
Chew.
Just him talking about
it.
I agree. Marry Road Dogg. Shag Heyman. Sorry, Bischoff. You're fired.
Yeah, you can't be intimate with him.
He doesn't seem warm.
Well, he's a Montana guy.
Yeah.
So he's got to stay warm when it's cold and whatnot.
Well, like personally, he seems like a distant individual. He doesn't seem like he's got a whole lot of warmth to him.
Yeah. You think Heyman does?
If nothing else, Heyman will make me laugh.
That works, yeah.
And he's probably got a ton of great stories.
It's all his stories.
Yeah. Tommy Cat, too much Cody and All Elite Wrestling. 2 great shows, both remembered by a Cody spot. Next match, he needs to take the fall and allow others to shine and be remembered. I mean, his match against Dustin at Double or Nothing was probably the best match on the show.
Yeah.
But I think most people were walking away from Double or Nothing. There was a lot of talk of that match. A lot of people were talking Mox, too.
That's kind of how I feel. I don't think there's too much Cody in AEW. I think some of the stuff Cody did kind of overshadows a lot of the other little things. But I mean, the build, Cody was smart to have him and his brother go at it because there's just a natural story there.
Yeah.
And hey, his brother probably wanted that too. And I thought there's just more. This is Dustin's greatest moment. I think his recent years.
Yeah.
I don't think too much Cody. I don't know. I don't think there was.
I feel like they're trying to give every match that's on the upper half of the card its own distinct moment. His 2 moments have just been the bloodiest.
Yeah.
And
that's a good. Yeah, exactly.
And I think those are just easy to remember.
Yeah, and it's not like Cody's not one of those kind of guys that does. He's just an old. He is trying to do the more old school approach just to get those old school wrestlers to like AEW for it. Because like the thing, wrestling, AEW is a buffet. You're going to get everything you want. If you want to see an old school match, you can watch Cody wrestle, whatever.
Yeah.
If you want to see a high flying match, you can have the Young Bucks.
Yeah.
Like that's the way I think AEW's approach is. It's going to be a buffet.
Yeah. And also I think Cody maybe realizes that he can't do the things that Kenny and the Young Bucks could do in the ring.
No.
He's a decently athletic guy, but he's not going to be doing 450s.
Yeah.
His strength is in telling stories.
Yeah.
And so that's what he's probably thinks, okay, well, why go out there and try to do things that aren't my strong suit and potentially embarrass myself when I can go out there and tell really good stories in the ring and make my way that way.
Yeah, just different style.
Exactly.
He's going to have a different approach. He's going to be more the cerebral type of wrestler. And I think and he's a smart guy. He's really intelligent.
Yeah.
So, and he's got years of experience as far as booking and like being around vets more than anybody, just from his lineage.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's Cody's strength is, be upstairs in his head.
Yeah.
Cerebral.
Timmy Two Dope, more excited for Bray now that Heyman is head of Raw. I actually would feel more confident knowing that Bray is in charge of his own creative, because if what we've heard about Firefly Funhouse, it's largely his endeavor, and it's been great. And granted, things are going to be different once he actually steps foot in the ring, and we don't know how that transition is going to happen. But I would hope that Heyman can see the money-making potential in Bray that Vince apparently did not.
I guarantee Heyman's going to see a lot of money with Bray. Bray is such a creative guy, and that's the thing. From what I've heard, Bray's the kind of guy who goes to the boys to help them with promos and ideas. So for him being that kind of guy that goes, helps everybody, give them ideas on what to say and what to do, Bray's perfect just to be on his own. And I think he understands that. He's been around Bray forever. And Bray's dad, Mike Rotunda, is one of the producers and stuff. I can see Bray, when he's done wrestling, taking a role in creative and being a producer. I think he has longevity with WWE, so they're not gonna just pitch him out. I think they're gonna keep him. They're gonna run with his idea because he is super creative. And it's just kind of like, as long as he can keep his vision and it doesn't get faltered by any way. It'll be money, but we'll see. Hopefully it's not like what was that WrestleMania with the projections?
Oh God, that was horrendous.
I don't know if that was his idea, but if he can, because I know that for a fact, him in the Firehouse Funhouse, it's was it like, I'm Scared, Hold Me? Have you seen those videos on YouTube? I'll just show you one. It's just like that. And I know for a fact Bray's a big fan of Tim and Eric.
Oh, yeah.
He loves that show, Tim and Eric.
Yeah.
I even remember he's like, hey, have you guys ever seen Tim and Eric's $1 billion movie?
Yeah.
Because it was on Netflix.
Yeah.
And we were all like, no. And he's like, you should go watch it. And we all watched it. And we're like, what is this?
Yeah.
So when he was doing the
Muscle Man dance,
dance,
totally Tim and Eric.
Tim and Eric.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Jabroni714, I saw you guys talking about Kenny's Firefest gear. Not sure if you've seen the Bucks interview. Apparently his costume couldn't get done in time. People in chat were mentioning that too.
Yeah.
Which is a bummer. Timmy Two Dope, any advice for someone training to wrestle?
First off, watch as much wrestling as you can. Find a decent, notable school. Make sure you can trust the trainers there and know that there's been good talent that's come out of there. And also, it depends on your area. If you are a NorCal person, there are a few schools you can go to. You can go to East Bay Pro to learn. They have some really great trainers there. You can, if you're a little bit older, more mature kind of kid, I would say go to something like Stoner U, where all the Hood Slam guys come out. That's where Manny Monsieur, that's where he came out of. He came out of Stoner U in Oakland. That's where he got trained. It really, and also, I don't know how old you are, age at this point doesn't really matter. As long as you're open-minded, you take notes, you ask questions to the point where you're not bugging anybody, you can, there's training you can get anywhere.
Yeah. Dragon Reborn, backstage producer battle royal, who wins?
You got Jamie Noble, you have Adam Pearce, you have Jason Jordan. Jason Jordan wins.
Yeah.
Jordan wins.
Yeah. Well, Kurt's producing too, right?
Jason would beat Kurt.
That's true.
Yeah.
Eric Young apparently is doing more producing backstage.
Yeah, he's doing 205 Live from her. And here's the reason why I'm saying Jason Jordan won, because Jason Jordan and I wrestled in college. Okay, he wrestled at Indiana University. I went to Oregon State. We're at the Las Vegas Cliff King tournament in Primeville, Nevada. I wrestled him in the quarters, and he beat me 7-3. So he's really talented. He was ranked number 2 in the country. He had a bad NCAA tournament where he did an All-American, but top ranked guy. He would destroy everybody.
Legit?
Legit.
Super legit.
He's beaten more All-American national champs than I can think of.
Wow.
Yeah.
Josh Little says, going in Raw, Cal, Steve, and Larson would be awesome. Yeah, we're going to work on that.
That'd be cool.
Josh Little again. Shag, Mary, Fire, Braun, Big Show, Jeff Cobb.
I'd marry Jeff Cobb because he's one of my buddies. Big Show I'd fire because he's big and old, and like he doesn't. He's just his time's up. He needs to go do something else, and he knows that. You know, he can go be an extra in a movie or something, or be a background dancer for that. Like, was that he was on that show as a background dancer in that lip sync battle show?
Oh yeah.
For that one girl who's married or dating Aaron Rodgers. Braun probably Shag because Braun's a freak. I mean, you wouldn't guess it, but yeah, Braun. I got nipple rings on. I got a cover. Man. So probably Shag, Braun.
I can't disagree with any of that.
Yeah.
Let's go to Twitter, see if there are any questions over there. Greg Moore says, honestly, what is Baron's ceiling? His creative has done him no favors, but can he even get a gender run? Both Steve and I think that in 10 years, Baron has Miz potential. The guy that was maybe not exactly liked backstage at a certain point, didn't have the best run in his early years, but eventually he earns the equity with his the fans become kind of universally loved.
I think for him, just knowing him, he's best fitted for like an enforcer role. Like just, how Shawn Michaels had Nash.
And Sid, yeah.
And Sid. I think I would have loved to see like if Aleister Black's taking this like, if he's going more of a heel role and like having Corbin to be like his muscle, that would be kind of something cool because they're very similar in looks and with the tattoos and whatnot. And I think they both are into the black craft stuff.
Yeah.
It's tough because Corbin doesn't have a lot of his charisma, his personality doesn't carry over to the TV very well. And he's just like real boring face kind of dude. I would rather see him take another role. Maybe, they've given him opportunities.
They have tons.
I don't know. He's good in the ring.
Yeah.
But
he's improved a lot since being called up.
Yeah. I think of all, like, I remember starting out with him, like, for instance, like, you had Mojo Rawley and him. They were the two football NFL guys when we were there. So they would be neck and neck in a lot of things. But Mojo in NXT would have way more live event matches than Corbin. And then eventually Mojo kind of peaked. And then Corbin, gradually was picking up more and more little moves. And he had such a different, unique look with the darker, brooding style that he came with. So that gave him more opportunities. I don't know. I don't think he's the kind of guy that needs to hold the title. I think he's better off in the role of like not contending with the title, but just like getting in the way of, kind of with his role as Seth. I think he's at his limit.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see if things had gone a little differently in the last couple of years. And it was Baron kind of being Shane's muscle instead of Drew.
I think I would actually rather like that instead because just the way that Corbin dresses and his personality. And Drew just...
Oh, he's alpha.
He just needs to be by himself.
He's alpha.
He's a like... He should be by himself.
Totally.
It's like, I don't know. I would rather see. I think Shane and Corbin kind of fit in the same realm as like personality wise. I think that would have been a way better match.
That could have been funny.
That would have been really funny.
Justin Warren, Larson isn't a big fan of Bischoff running SmackDown. Who do you or Caljack think should run SmackDown instead of Bischoff? I mean, if one of the metrics, one of the criteria was someone Attitude Era fans would recognize and maybe have some sort of nostalgia for, that really limits one's options. The other option really is Vince Russo, and I want him nowhere near wrestling.
No,
WB wrestling whatsoever.
No. They'll never bring him back. He's burned so many bridges.
Yeah,
and just like his show, like. It's as far as like notable personalities that were head of creative. I don't know. I liked Road Dogg as creative.
Yeah, me too.
For a good while. I didn't
think
there was anything wrong with that. And then they had a big shift, and it kind of just staggered up the show. The whole wild card rule and all that mumbo jumbo. I don't know. That's a tough question. I mean, Bruce Pritchard got hired back.
Yeah.
He's a pretty creative guy, and the guys like him, I don't see him in the role of being head of creative. But I mean, Bischoff will be interesting. I think they brought him back because he's a known name, and having him part of creative.
Yeah.
Is supposed to allow the fans to be, oh, well, Bischoff's on board.
Yeah.
So I don't really know.
This is the only other name I could think of. And he's working for TNA now, and that's Kevin Sullivan.
Yeah.
Apparently, he's basically like a wizard in the production truck.
Yeah.
Like the video packages that Impact puts together now are mostly his doing. His booking during this time in WCW was hit or miss, obviously, but it's a reasonably recognizable name. Not up there with Bischoff, obviously.
Yeah.
But otherwise, yeah, no, I would just make Road Dogg head of SmackDown.
Yeah, just keep Road Dogg there.
Wrestle Dude, if James Storm stayed with NXT and went to Raw or SmackDown, how would he reform Beer Money in WWE?
It'd just be like a backstage segment, and you just see like Rude lose a match, and he's probably looking in the mirror and be like, "I changed my name to Robert Roode. This isn't me." He's looking at his mustache and his hair, and then like he opens the door, and then all of a sudden like he gets like a beer handed to him.
Yeah, just out the door.
Just out the door.
You don't see who it is.
And then he like just takes a swig of it, and he's like, "This is money."
Yeah, Beer Money. That's
beer
That's
money.
100% it.
Yeah.
Juan Guerrero Jr., Mr. Triple Mania, considering the build of the Triple Mania, are you satisfied with Dr. Wagner Jr. versus Blue Demon Jr. being the main event, or would you rather have preferred the originally announced main event of Dr. Wagner Jr. versus L.A. Park? I think that's supposed to be a hair versus mask match, too. I guess I probably Wagner versus L.A. Park because based on what happened the year prior, that one made more sense. Did you watch Triple Mania at all?
No,
Oh,
I just
man.
watched the segment where you have Vampiro complain about his music.
Oh, yeah.
And then he farted on the
it's so
camera.
good. Oh, it's so good.
Or on the mic.
It was so good. The set, like that was a story set up last year, and the fact that we're not getting that for whatever reason.
I've
kinda
taken
bums
on
me.
somebody from AAA that had one of the titles. I forget his name. It was like some LA lucha show. And the guy stiffed me hard on like a frog splash.
Oh, really?
But he's a big barrel-chested dude. I don't know. It wasn't L.A. Park. I forget the guy's
What was
name.
his mask look like?
It was like, I could be right. Maybe it was CMLL or something.
Oh, okay.
It's one of those companies, but
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
like plain fly. I don't even
Okay.
remember. I'm probably wrong. I'm supposed to be on a show with L.A. Park here pretty soon.
Oh, cool.
I'm not really sure which one. I've been on tons of shows with Sam Adonis.
Mm-hmm.
So, and he's all over the place there. So, I don't know. That's more of a Steven Larson question because I don't really follow AAA too much.
We don't really at all, but we just love Triple Mania because it's. I feel like for us, it benefits us our viewing experience to not know what's going on.
Yeah. I do know that like Alberto El Patron,
He's got a new thing.
he's
going.
got a new thing, and I've talked to him about like maybe getting on board with that.
Ooh.
So that would be, we'll see because it's him, Ricardo, who used to be my roommate, and his brother Memo, who used to be my roommate.
Oh,
when I
wow.
was living in Florida. I'm gonna see if that might come through. Hopefully by the end of this year, but we'll see. I've talked to him about going. He's like, send me matches.
He or I saw something online that he said they were going to offer wrestlers health insurance.
Oh, that's what he said.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm sure because he's been complaining about WWE about that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So I guess that's if he's the first to get on that for everybody, that's pretty.
Some good.
I mean, he like the first card they announced was pretty good. It had Penta and Phoenix and a lot of well-known luchadors on the show.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. And like Ricardo's role, because like they're starting their own company, and then Ricardo's coaching talent there too.
Oh, that's cool.
So he's one of the trainers,
That's
which
cool.
is good for him. He needs to do something like that.
Factoid: which 3 superstars would you specifically give to Heyman, and which 3 would you give to Bischoff to build into new directions for the respective shows, and why? So, what 3 Raw superstars would you backstage make Paul Heyman guys?
It would have to be 3 that need help in some regard as far as creative goes, and then with the Bischoff, it would be 3 that kind of don't really need help creative wise. I would like to see like Ember Moon and Heyman, see what they can do with her because she hasn't really done anything. I don't really know who else. Just her. She sticks out in my head for some reason. Alexa Bliss and Heyman, they already work with each other. Seth, I don't think really needs the help. I don't think Roman. I think Roman and Bischoff would be fine.
That's a perfect pairing.
That's
yeah.
a perfect pairing. Who else for Heyman?
I feel like Bob Roode needs Paul Heyman.
Ah,
Right?
that's the number one. I think Bob Roode and
Bob
Heyman would be
Roode,
perfect.
Cesaro. Like, did you hear about that faction that formed on? No one watches main event, so probably not.
Yeah.
It's Bob Roode, it's Cesaro, and it's EC3.
Okay,
They're
I
piloting.
could kind of see EC3 and Rude together. That I think that would be the three outside of Ember Moon. I just, as far as like girl wrestlers go, who's not really going, I would just say her. But yeah, I think those three: EC3, Rude, and Cesaro.
But they call them like the main event. That's what Renee Young said. They're calling themselves the main event muscle men, which is horrible.
Oh, that's such a joke.
Oh yeah,
they did that on purpose because they're spinning their wheels. They have no,
yeah.
And I know EC3, Michael Hutter. That's something that like he would say.
Yeah,
that's totally him. And Cesaro's like, well, whatever, I don't care. That's fine. We can do that.
Well, EC3 took to Twitter and said, no, that's not the name.
Oh, I'm sure he would. He probably said it, and then she
in jest. Yeah. Like, what does Renee care?
And then like Bischoff 3.
Roman's good. Roman's good.
As long as he stays on SmackDown.
Yeah, which he hasn't been on in almost a month.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see what Aleister Black's creative looks like going forward. Because apparently Heyman's been helping him with that stuff.
Well, that's, yeah. And like, is he on SmackDown or is he on Raw?
SmackDown, yeah.
Okay, well, try Bischoff. It'd be interesting to see what he, if anything, just keep him out of that dark room.
He needs to get in the ring and start kicking people in the head.
Yeah, instead of going, blah, fight me. Yeah, he needs to do that.
How about Roman, Andrade, and
if you say Andrade, does that mean Zelina Vega would have to be part of that too?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I'll just say, like Charlotte doesn't need help creatively.
I would say Apollo Crews.
Okay, that's a good answer.
I'm gonna say Apollo because he doesn't have anything defined. I think when he got into WWE, he had an idea of what he was gonna do, what he wanted to do, and they just took that away. Like,
he's so good.
They didn't want him to say it too easy, and it should have been that because you see a guy who's just how big he is. He's not tall. Like, he's probably 5'11". That's tall for some people, but like, he's 240, 250,
and
5'11",
doing insane stuff.
And he's super athletic.
Yeah,
like he went to Auburn and he could have walked on the football team there without any like. Instead he joined a frat. That's what he told me. So he could have walked on the football team at Auburn and played. But instead he wanted to be in a frat and do pro wrestling.
Blake Elizondo, make this our last question. Fighter Fest match of the night, and who was the MVP? Match of the night was probably the main event. The Mox Janela match. That was fun.
That was fun.
MVP. I don't know if there was like just one star that kind of tied the show together.
I think my match of the night was that tag match.
That was
with
really
Private
good.
Party. I love that
was
match.
great, yeah.
I love that match. I was like, I'm not too into Private Party at first because I wasn't sure about their look and stuff. But then when I watched them and how cool they are in the ring, like just smooth, I'm like, oh, this seems awesome. And like that to me is my favorite. That tag match, pre-show match was great. I think performance of the night. I feel bad for Janela, man.
Yeah.
Like, who wants to go feet first on thumbtacks, barbed wire table? Like, that dude threw his body out there. And I was never a Janela fan, but I respect that guy a lot. And I've heard stories of what he does and whatnot, and people would bag, but he totally took one for the team by taking on Moxley and just. I'm going to give it to Janela.
Right.
I really like what Janela did.
I'll say Private Party is my MVPs.
Yeah.
Because they had a star-making performance.
They were great.
And now they got a match against the Young Bucks coming up at either House of Glory or House of Hardcore show.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's going to be incredible. Hopefully we can find somewhere on the internet where we can watch that.
Yep.
Cal, thank you very much.
Yeah.
It's been fun.
Thank you for having me.
We got a post show coming up for patrons and YouTube channel members after this. We'll find some non-news to talk about. You can ask some questions. Just kind of talk for about a half hour. And then, thank you, everybody, for joining us. And we'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Be a part of Going In Raw today at patreon.com/Steven Larson. Starting at $1 a month, you can enjoy Going In Raw ad-free, gain access to the daily 30-minute Going In Raw post show, exclusive merchandise, and so much more. Support Going In Raw today. Click the link in the description.